Well, India's youngsters and growing middle class are all in for live music events. It's a known fact by now. The biggest examples in recent times are the mind-blowing concerts by Coldplay, by Lipa, Maroon 5, several others. The list is endless, truly.
There's also a very talented lineup that awaits Indian audiences in the next few months of 2025 and, of course, 2026, with whole concert festivals like Lollapalooza, a lot of buzz around Travis Scott's debut India tour in October, with his initial Delhi shows selling out within just minutes and prompting an additional Mumbai date due to the overwhelming demand.
Fans have flooded ticket platforms, leading to social media frenzy and discussions about the rapper's massive following in India. And well, this craze isn't just limited to global artists performing in India. The music scene in the country has seen a 360-degree shift, and more so post-pandemic.
Music events. Concerts by Indian artists are going up, and so are music events that come with extended stays and local exploration, what you call music tourism in the truest sense. All of this combined is becoming a major economic driver. So, what's happening to the country post-COVID? Is this a last decade phenomenon, or does this stretch even further back? We take a look right here on the show.
And is this really the golden period for concert economy? You've heard it from the Prime Minister. Or more needs to be done to make India the it destination for music events? Joining us this morning is someone who's been part of the music and entertainment industry in India for over 2 decades now. Hi, good morning, Anand. Hope you're doing well.
Good morning, good morning. I am doing very well. Thank you so much for having me here, and great to see you guys on top of the morning this Tuesday.
Okay, lovely. Anand, can we first start with your journey so far? Quickly sum up for us what this experience of 2 decades has been like, what led you to ArtKonnect back in 2013, and how has music in India, concerts, events, all of this evolved over the years? A quick sum up.
Super. So I start way back in 2000 and joined Viscraft as one of the lower rungs stuff. I had the good fortune of working with the promoters themselves and on how they think and what they do. From there, I moved on to Times of India, where we did a lot of events for Femina, Film Fair, and a lot of other events and stuff. So I really saw the trajectory moving in. I had the good fortune of working for a very small time in Percept, where I saw the workings of Sunburn that were going along. So brilliant work. I worked at a music label for the Intertrade Group, which gave me an insight to understand how the music scene works and really where is the money pouring into the music scene. We all talk about CDs and multi-platinum and stuff like that, but where is the real money coming in? And at the last stint at Hindustan Times, we used to do music events, music concerts. There was a time that out of 52 weeks in a year, we had around 34 to 36 concerts in a year that were planned in beyond other events. So there is definitely money in this space. And 2013 is when I started ArtKonnect, and since then we've been at the forefront of riding the wave of great entertainment that's happening. And I really feel this is the golden age of entertainment that's come in. So since then we've been executing events, we've been executing large format music festivals, have a couple of our own IPs that we do. So yeah, interesting space to be in, and really love the space where the entertainment scene is in right now at this point in time.
Anand, tell us, what have music artists and international teams? So, when an international artist comes, they typically come down with an entire team. Over the last 10 years, how has the feedback from them changed? It doesn't just have to be for the positive, any negative changes too, but I want to hear what it is that they are telling you about what it's like to perform in India.
I'll tell you a heartbreak movement, which was the Metallica concert in Delhi. And, so those promoters at that point in time to where that was a really low time for India. But now to this time here, Bryan Adams used to travel with a full container of his equipment. This year around when they performed, everything was available back here. The level of people that are available in India are better. The technicals that are available have far improved. We are at par with some of the global tech that we have. The experience crew that is here. So slowly and steadily the experience of the people behind the stage managing a particular concert from an international side is improving day by day, and they also see money in this, and that's why they are also as much invested in India as any other place that's there. Obviously, if you compare it to a Taylor Swift concert globally, I think there is still some time to go, but just some time. Just some time, not too much.
You spoke of Taylor Swift, which takes me back to all the global artists who need no introduction. There's a craze, rage around their name, forget their singing. That really doesn't need a selling point. But Anand, tell us overall, apart from that one X factor of who's going to be performing, how has that story evolved over the years? Many are trying to measure it pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. How has that changed from ticket aggregators to, let's say, GST integration now, and also the host of other factors that enable more growth in this industry from a promoter's perspective?
So from a promoter's perspective, earlier when we used to plan events or when we used to plan for a particular artist, we used to go with a gut feel, saying whether this artist would work, not work. Today we have direct data. We used to have a lot of on-ground booths for ticketing. Now ticketing is not on ground, it's on my mobile. It can be purchased at the spur of the moment. The third important part is GST, which comes in. Earlier, at one point in time, every state, every city had different entertainment taxes, excise taxes and stuff. With GST coming in, it's actually got flat at 18%, which is a great thing for the industry that comes in. So as a promoter, I can plan my event in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Shillong, Chandigarh, and I know, okay, broadly, this is what my tax structure is going to be. This is the money that's going to come to me. And this is the promotion that I need to do to attract an audience that comes in. So I think the bigger aspect has been the ease of getting your experience has become, because otherwise what used to happen, lambi lineo mein lage raho, then you are there and maybe you will get a ticket and that ticket will be, Michael Jackson tickets were sold at a bank. Tickets for Michael Jackson concert were sold at a bank because they were the only guys who could handle that kind of money. Today we don't have anything like that. So I think it's really come a long way to make the entire experience very easy. Before you go into the big experience, the entire experience becomes easier for a customer to say, okay, hey, I want to enjoy this and go here.
Because when it comes to experiential music, people are actually paying in lakhs. It's not just a one-time payment. You're actually paying a huge amount in one go for an experience that lasts about 2-3 days.
But I want to, sorry, go ahead, Anand. Please go ahead.
And it lakhs, you don't see the money traveling. So it's not like you're transferring hard cash and you see that going, saying, okay, it's just click of a button, it's traveled. Okay, you don't see the money.
Okay,
but the money is going. You don't see the money is going.
I'm going to sound a little like, it's like you're the positive fairy, and I'm continuing to go on the questions here. But I do want to understand, when I've spoken to Indian artists who are touring abroad, they say that you can't yet compare. So obviously this entire conversation has two halves. One is the audience experience and the other is the performers' experiences. And when I've spoken to Indian artists who are touring abroad, they say you still can't compare Indian venues in any way to the US and the UK. They say that actually India is more comparable right now to smaller European countries. There are some smaller European countries that are actually ahead, far ahead of India in terms of the infra they offer. They've had concert experiences, EDM, metal, very well developed subcultures around them. These are all journeys where India still has a long way to travel. I want to ask you, Anand, what you feel about that, and I also want to understand, where did we get left behind and why? When did that happen and why? If we take a step back.
Even South Asian countries, Thailand for instance, Singapore for instance, they are believed to be giving a better experience to the audiences and the performer alike.
Why is this?
Yeah. So here, just look at where we are coming from really. A city like Edinburgh invests from a city point of view, from a government point of view, into creating venues for 20 people to 20,000 people. And they invest, they create those subsidies, they create those incentives for people to be a part of. I think that's something that's there. But we can't really compare ourselves there because we have a fantastic demand, a phenomenal demand. And I'm sure that this demand is being seen by the authorities at the highest level. The PM himself mentioned saying, concert economy is a big thing. So if stadiums can be used as multi-purpose stadiums and not just saying this is only for sport and we can't do it, put your do's and don'ts for a stadium usage. Give us that kind of a right and we would love to, put it to good use. I think first, in India, there is a sudden demand that's coming in. And now we will start fulfilling that demand, be it by means of infrastructure, be it by means of, other things. In terms of tech, we are already there. So from a tech point of view, because it's all controlled by private players, it is easily controllable. But I think from a venue point of view, there is still a little time to go. But authorities have started taking notice of it and they have started seeing the money that can be made out of it. So I think it's going to be a great aspect if we bring our A game into it. But look at it. I'm not talking Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. Look at a place like Shillong, which is actually going from a government point of view. They're saying we need to increase music tourism here. If that pattern can be replicated, what Kerala did with the Kerala First campaign way back for tourism, if our people at the highest office can understand the kind of medium, earlier exhibitions used to be like this, that if there's an exhibition in Delhi, the hotel room rates would skyrocket. What happened in Bombay, what happened in Ahmedabad for Coldplay are actually proof that if you can actually do it, the entire ecosystem goes up.
Right.
I think we will get there. We will get there. There is no comparison to either South Asian countries or European countries, because the demand that we have for that way outweighs the entire thing. But it's not just a space for 10,000 people. We need parking, we need washrooms, we need stuff like that. So a lot of infra that goes into it will be done by them, and I'm sure they will do it. There are no two ways about it.
There was a time people would plan their travel around their anniversaries, birthdays, special days, and now they're planning their travel around music events, music concerts. So it's a very interesting time that we're witnessing this kind of an upscale in the music industry in the country. But Anand, broadly, if we were to look at it category-wise, there is one aspect which comes with global artists performing in India. The other aspect is Indian artists, and the manner in which that's going up is also huge and very clear for one and all. The third aspect is large-scale music festivals. You spoke of Sunburn, Zero Festival, Magnetic Fields Festival. There are several others you're associated and linked to or closely working on, one such as we speak. Tell us how that's changed the entire landscape, and if we were to give an order broadly, what came first, what worked for India better, and that led to others sort of gaining momentum there?
I think slowly and steadily the Indian music scene started evolving, and with the Indian artist understanding the value of ticket and the value of their brand that they can command on a ticket. So today when Arijit Singh performs, he knows that this is the value of ticketing that can be done, and his team, his office is actively involved in promoting it. Today when Diljit performed, he knew what his brand value is and the kind of money that he can generate, not just in places like Delhi, Mumbai, but even in Ludhiana on a 31st December concert. That's what he did. And trust me, only 10% understand what he's singing. The 90% of stuff like us Punjabis are there just for the vibe of loving the entire thing. So I think it's a progression that's happened. It is not just international guys who are selling concerts, and really it's not just Hindi also. So you have Sunidhi Chauhan cracking it, selling out stadiums. You have Sonu Nigam selling out stadiums. Shan is selling out stadiums in India, and I'm not even talking abroad. We have down south, Thaikuttam Bridge just performed a few days back in Delhi, and he packed up the entire stadium. And Thaikuttam Bridge is a heavy metal rock band from down south. We always feel that they have a limited audience, but they had sold out all tickets and stuff like that. So I think it's important to understand that it's not just international artists who are bringing in. The Indian artist had set the pedestal. So the international guys are tip of the iceberg, they're cherry on the cake. But the entire cake is made out of all our Indian artists, be it for Gurdas Manji, for example. We know for a fact that if he comes and he performs, he will sell out, 4,000, 5,000 tickets, and even more than that, depending on the city that he's performing in. So I think right from folk to rock to, Hindi and Tamil, Telugu, all languages are doing great. I think people are wanting to go out for experience.
I'm so happy you brought up Diljit because, Coldplay and Diljit, the amount of excitement they generated felt like it was equal in the last few months.
And that's such an interesting concept that you feel a certain FOMO automatically when you hear that a Diljit concert is happening and you're not going to be able to attend it.
Newsroom, the
and that's doing wonders, I think, for the industry. But anyway.
My sister had gone wearing a full pug, and I felt a FOMO saying, "Arey, this girl is wearing a pug and she's dancing," and I felt a FOMO saying, not being in the Diljit one that way.
I want to ask you again a bit of a harder question here. But when you've had festivals like Zero take place, that take place in more beautiful locations, so destination locations, there is this question of how we treat the environment. Indians in general, we talk about our civic sense, and I think anytime you're in a concert, that gets escalated, right? The standing in lines, buying chips, packets, water, all of that, treating the area around you not so well. So I want to understand from you, Anand, in the last few years, who are companies like yours maybe, musicians, I want to give a positive shout out to the people, the musicians, the artists who you've seen have encouraged their fans to stick by the rules, to care for the spaces they're in?
So here there has to be a thin line, which defines optimization versus greed for a promoter. So at places like Zero, we need to have a capacity saying, okay, if there is space for 10,000, we will only sell 9,000 tickets and not more than that. And we will spend a limited amount of money to make sure that we return the venue in exactly the same way that we found it. And these are systems that have to be brought in. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but there is no set pattern for it. That is why, coming back to my earlier one, if you can set precedents like this, saying you give me a venue, I will give it back the same way, and I build it in my cost. The environment is a very, very important part. You do it in a city like Delhi at a Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, it's not that big an impact. But you do it at a place like Zero or in a Manali, you need to make sure that it's not just that, the amount of cars that would go in, the kind of parking that would be leading up, the choke points that it would lead to. So we just need to have that small little sense that this is what we need to do at a certain number, not beyond it. Okay. But there are no two ways. There has to be a thin line that someone needs to.
There are positive players already leading that, though?
There are positive players. In one of my last event at Riders Music Fest, we had a recycling team that had come in and it picked up all the other waste that came out. In one of my events that we do for another company, they make us put a report saying what are the things that are being reused and what are the things that won't be reused. So we have to give it to them saying, okay, to get this business, I'm going to try to maximize my reuse and remove diesel emissions and stuff like that. But people have started getting cognizant of the fact that we need to be focusing. We can't mess around like this.
Anand, since we've already moved away from Tier 1, we've moved away from the obsession around Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi, holding these concerts. We finally reached Manali, we've reached, where Zero is held. There are other parts of the country that are hosting these splendid musical festivals, mostly the ones which come with the extended stay kind of experience. But Anand, tell us, what does it usually do? And I want to end this conversation on that positive note. What do these kind of events, when you're staying for, let's say, 2-3 days and you're really not sticking around or staying in that one closure which, let's say, the music fest promoters are providing you with. You're going beyond the boundaries and you're staying in villages. So hotels are coming up, resorts are coming up, Airbnbs are coming up, tea stalls, vendors, street vendors, they're all really happy. What happens to a place like that when you host these music fests on a yearly basis?
So the moment I know that this is going to happen, so imagine my concert experience is only going to be 4 hours, or a festival experience is only going to be for 8 hours. But I would be spending time, I would be having my breakfast somewhere, I'll be going out somewhere, lunches and dinners are going to be somewhere else. I'll be staying at some other places and experiencing that particular culture. So it is not just the promoter or the artist who benefits from an event at a particular place, but the entire ecosystem of that particular, which gets a spike. And if we can maintain this spike for a certain level, the entire space gets boost at this point in time. We are doing an event for 500 people end of the month, and it's a very close-knit affair, but with some of the very high-profile events, high-profile audience that's coming in. And the experience is that they keep on going to other places, they get to see a lot of other things, they promote the culture. I think it's not just about money, but also promoting a particular place, promoting a particular culture. Last year we did an event in Calcutta where we were inside a temple, and the small little performance was inside a temple, and suddenly everyone started talking about where is this temple, where is the Shiva temple and stuff. So it kind of it is not just music, it is much more from a tourism point of view that comes in.
Anand, it's been wonderful to have you here on the show. Thank you for shining such a light.
Thank you so much for having me here. Have a great day.
Thank you.